Welcome dear learners. Today we will study about a critical issue impacting the landscape of rural marketing in India. The perceived problem of fake brands. The phenomena involving counterfeit goods, lookalikes and pass-offs poses significant challenges not only to legitimate businesses but also to the well-being and trust of the rural consumers. With roughly 65 to 70% of India's population residing in rural areas, this market has become a prime target for those dealing in spurious products. In this session, we will explore the nature of these fake brands, understand why they thrive in rural India, analyze their sector-wise impact, and discuss the roles of companies, government, and communities in tackling the menace. We will also look at the ongoing challenges and future strategies needed to combat this issue effectively. Now we will talk about the learning objectives of this curriculum. Before we proceed, let's outline our learning objectives for this session. By the end of this lecture, you should be able to first clearly understand what constitutes a fake brand and distinguish between its main types. Second, identify the prime factors driving the spread of these fake brands specifically within rural India. Thirdly, recognize the impact of counterfeit products across different key sectors. Fourth, appreciate the distinct yet interconnected roles that companies, the government, and local communities play in addressing this problem. And finally, explore the persistent challenges and potential future strategies aimed at reducing the circulation of fake brands in these markets. These objectives will guide our discussion today. Introduction of the problem. The proliferation or rapid increase of fake brands is a serious concern, particularly in India's extensive rural markets. These spurious products cleverly mimic well-known established brands in their appearance, packaging, and even their names. This imitation serves a dual negative purpose. It deceives consumers into believing they are purchasing a genuine item, and it simultaneously undermines the market share and reputation of legitimate manufacturers. Rural India, as we noted, hosts the majority of country's population and presents a unique environment where counterfeiters find fertile grounds. Factors like the sheer size and remoteness of rural areas, varying literacy levels among consumers, and gaps in regulatory oversight make these markets particularly vulnerable to the influx of fake goods. Let's clarify what we mean by fake or spurious brands. Essentially, these are imitative products designed to unlawfully leverage the reputation, recognition, and consumer trust, often referred to as goodwill built by legitimate brands over time. Based on the degree and method of imitation, we can broadly classify these fake brands into two main categories, as identified by researchers like Srivastava in the year 2020. Firstly, the counterfeit products, and second, the pass-off or look-alike products. Understanding the distinction between these two is crucial for grasping the nuances of the problem. First, let's look at counterfeit products. These are essentially illegal, exact copies of legitimate products. They bear an identical trademark, logo, packaging design, color scheme, and sometimes even fake manufacturer details, all without authorization from the genuine brand owner. The replication is often so meticulous that differentiating the fake from the real product can be extremely difficult, sometimes challenging even for the original manufacturers themselves. The core intent behind counterfeiting is outright deception, to trick the consumer into believing they are purchasing the genuine article. A common example found in rural markets, as highlighted by Ritivani in the year 2011, includes counterfeit personal care items like talcum powder or shampoo that uses the exact same branding and packaging as the well-known originals. The second category is pass-off products, also commonly known as look-alikes. These fakes operate slightly differently. They don't replicate the original brand exactly. Instead, they mimic it very closely, making only minor modifications to the name, logo, or packaging design. The goal is still to mislead consumers, particularly those who might be less familiar with brand specifics, have lower literacy, or are making quick purchase decisions. These products often use names that sound phonetically similar to the original, like Luke for Lux soap or Head and Shower for Head and Shoulders shampoo. The packaging colors, fonts, and graphics are deliberately kept almost identical to the popular brand they are imitating, creating confusion at the point of sale. While they might incorporate small differences, hoping to navigate around direct trademark infringement, the intent to capitalize on the established brand's identity is clear. While they might incorporate small differences, hoping to navigate around direct trademark infringement, the intent to capitalize on the established brand's identity is clear. Now that we understand what fake brands are, let's examine their prevalence, especially in India's rural markets. Evidence strongly suggests that illegitimate goods have deeply penetrated the rural segment. While quantifying the exact size of this fakes market is inherently difficult due to its illicit nature, various studies and industry reports provide alarming estimates. It's widely suggested that counterfeit and pass-off products constitute a substantial share, often ranging from 10% to 30% of the market volume for many product categories sold in India. Worryingly, this percentage might be even higher in specifically rural contexts. For instance, a Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry known as FICCI estimate cited back in 2012 suggested that this 10 to 30% figure could apply to the entire fast moving consumer goods, that is FMCG sector across the country, highlighting the sheer volume of fake daily essentials in circulation. Now, let's look at some more concrete figures to understand this scale. A 2015 study by ASSOCHAM referenced data from 2006 indicating that annual sales of fake products in India had already reached rupees 15,000 crore or about 3 billion US dollar at the time, causing significant tax revenue loss. More recently, the problem has clearly escalated. A 2022 FICCI Cascade study focused on just 5 key industries estimated the illicit market size, which includes counterfeits and smuggled goods, at a staggering rupees 7.97 lakh crore, nearly 96 billion US dollar annually. Within this, the packaged food sector, for example, was found to have about 25% of its market value attributed to illicit trade in 2022 and 23. Specific product categories show high penetration too. Around 2018, estimates suggested nearly 30% of FMCG household and personal care items might be fake. And critically, in the automotive sector, it's reported that counterfeit parts contribute to about 20% of road accidents in India, highlighting severe safety risks. A crucial aspect of this problem is the lack of consumer awareness. Many individuals who purchase and use counterfeit goods don't even realize they have bought a fake. A FICCI study disturbingly found that 4 out of 5 consumers who had actually purchased counterfeit items either did not know they were fake or claimed ignorance. This highlights the deceptive effectiveness of these products. This lack of awareness is often even more pronounced in rural areas compared to cities. So, to summarize the prevalence, fake brands represent a significant and growing issue in rural India, potentially accounting for 10% to 30% or more of goods in certain categories. The trade involves vast sum of money and rural consumers from a large, open, unsuspecting and vulnerable segment of this market. Now, the question is, why has this problem taken such deep root specifically in rural India? Several interrelated factors contribute. The first major cause lies in economic incentives and price dynamics. Producing counterfeit or look-alike products is cheap. Manufacturers use low-quality materials, skip research and development, ignore quality control, and avoid branding costs. This allows them to sell these fakes to retailers at a significantly lower price than the genuine article. For rural shopkeepers, often operating on thin margins, stocking and promoting these fakes can be financially attractive due to the higher profit potential. On the consumer side, price sensitivity is generally high in rural India. Many consumers have limited disposable income and naturally gravitate towards the lowest priced option available. If a fake product looks similar to the original but costs less or offers more quantity for the same price, budget-conscious buyers are likely to choose it, sometimes even knowingly. A second critical factor is the limited distribution of genuine products. Many reputable manufacturers still face significant challenges in extending their distribution network deep into India's vast rural hinterland. Reaching over 6 lakh villages, many of which are small and geographically isolated, is logistically complex and expensive. These distribution gaps mean that in numerous villages, the genuine branded product might simply not be available when a consumer wants to buy it. Counterfeiters exploit this vacuum. When the authentic product isn't on the shelf, a readily available fake or look-alike often becomes the only option for the consumer. The third aspect is low consumer awareness and literacy levels play a significant role. As per the 2011 census, about 31% of the rural population was illiterate and many others possess only basic reading skills. This makes it difficult for consumers to carefully read and differentiate brand names, especially when fakes use spellings that are only slightly altered. Counterfeits are well aware of this and deliberately create packaging that looks identical in terms of color, shape, and overall design. They know that many buyers rely more on these virtual cues, recognizing the familiar style rather than scrutinizing the text or minor details, making them easy targets for deception. Fourth, the influence of the local retailer and the nature of rural supply chains are key. Rural consumers often place considerable trust in their local shopkeepers, seeking their advice on purchases. This relationship, built on familiarity and community ties, can unfortunately be exploited. If a retailer, motivated by higher profit margins, subtly encourages a customer to buy a specific product which happens to be a fake or look-alike, the consumer is likely to comply. Furthermore, rural supply chains are often informal and complex, involving multiple intermediaries. This lack of transparency makes it difficult for genuine manufacturers to track where their products end up and equally hard for authorities to trace the source of counterfeit goods. Fifth, we must consider cultural factors and brand aspiration. In contemporary India, branded products often carry significant aspirational value. They are associated with modernity, quality, and social status. Rural consumers, increasingly exposed to media and urban lifestyles, desire these branded goods that were once perceived as urban luxuries. Counterfeiters tap into this aspiration by providing products that look alike the desired brand but at a much lower price point. For a household with limited means, accepting a look-alike shampoo or toothpaste that offers the perception of using a famous brand can be appealing. Additionally, the cultural practice of bargaining and seeking the best deal can sometimes work against the consumer, and usually low price might be seen as successful bargaining rather than a red flag indicating a potential fake. Finally, a sixth major cause is the presence of regulatory and enforcement gaps. While India has laws designed to protect trademarks and prevent the sale of spurious goods like the Trademark Act, the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, and the Consumer Protection Act, their implementation and enforcement, particularly in vast and dispersed rural areas, can be weak and uneven. Rural regions often lack the consistent regulatory surveillance seen in cities. There are fewer inspections of local shops, periodic markets commonly known as HARTs, or potential small-scale manufacturing units operating in the interiors. This weak enforcement ecosystem means that counterfeiters face a low risk of detection and prosecution, making rural market an attractive operational ground for their illicit activities. So, dear learners, we will close here the learnings of part 1 of fake brands and continue the remaining contents in part 2 of this lecture. Stay tuned till then. Thank you so much.